Hi, and welcome to episode 13 of season 2. I'm not Ray.
I'm not James, but I am in fact Ray.
Yes.
The good-looking one.
The delusional one. Anyway, so if we said we knew of a Republican from Kentucky, not a lot of people would think them as progressive. However...
Yes, there was one. Little-known fellow. Abraham Lincoln was his name.
Yes.
Interesting man. We're going to do a two-parter on Abe. Tonight we're doing his birth till about 1850. We'll get through all the boring stuff tonight, and then we'll do the exciting stuff.
Yes.
Next year. Okay, let's start off. Abe was born in Hoganville County,
Hoganville in
Hardin County, Kentucky, on the 12th of February 1809. He was the second child of Thomas and Nancy Hanks Lincoln. At the age of 9, his mother passed away from the milk sickness.
which was common at the time,
yes,
due to unpasteurised milk.
Well, no. Anyway, Abe was fairly devastated by his mother's loss. Shortly after, his father remarried, and he bonded very deeply with his stepmother, Sarah, who encouraged Abe to read whatever he could find, and Abe had a reputation for wandering far and wide as a kid, trying to borrow books. No doubt he obviously read the family Bible. Yes.
Yeah, and
yeah. Now the family moved to Macon County, Illinois, in March 1830, and then again they moved to New Salem, Illinois, when Abe was 22. He served in the Black Hawk War, which broke out in 1832. Never saw any action. The only thing he got to do was basically swat some very bloodthirsty mosquitoes.
Yes. This is the day before spray-on repellent.
A long time before spray-on repellent. He decided to try his hand in politics in 1834 and got himself elected to the Illinois State Legislature. English is hard.
Yes, English is hard. Legislator.
As a member of the Whig Party, but his membership of the Whig Party didn't
last. So essentially, the Whig Party was the Conservative Party in those days, wasn't it?
Yes, yes. And then there was the Whigs and there was the Democrats, but the Whigs were very far right, and they essentially changed over. Now, at that point in time, he decided that he was going to become a lawyer, and basically self-schooled himself by reading William Blackmore's commentary of the laws of England. He moved to Springfield, Illinois, to practice with John T. Stewart law firm.
Yep.
That was in 1837. He became romantically involved with an Anne Rutledge about this time, who died at the age of 22. Apparently, he was quite upset about it.
Yeah,
strangely
enough. Would be, yeah. As you would.
Yeah, as you would. And then in 1847, he worked at various jobs and worked his way up. In 1847 to 1849, he served a term in the House of Representatives, which during his term, the Mexican-American War, English is hard again.
English is hard, yes.
Yes, broke out, and he criticised the war and decided at the end of his term that he'd go back and practice law in Springfield. Okay, and that then brings us up to 1850, so and the end of the boring stuff.
End of the boring stuff and start of the interesting stuff. Now, you may have heard this fizzing away.
Yes.
We have another cell, but we still have enough to charge a phone.
Yes, we've got roughly...
we've got roughly about, I don't even see that, we've got roughly about 4.2 volts.
Yes, and we need about 4.8, so we need another cell.
Which is, well, it's better than the 3.8 we had last week.
Yes, yes.
We have about 70 milliamps, which is near what we need, but we only have, as opposed to the about 40 we had last week.
Yeah. So we're progressively getting closer. So next week you'll see 4 jars lined up, and hopefully we'll crack it. You'll hear a ba-ding as the phone starts to charge.
Or that, or just kaboom as this house explodes.
Yes. It's a little fumey in here.
It's a little fumey, and I'm hoping that we don't burn this house down.
I don't think we.
Hopefully there will be no smoke.
No.
How are they getting warm? They should be getting warm. No.
This one is the warmest by far.
Yeah.
That one's really hammering away.
That one's really going to town. Anyway, things happened on this day.
Yes.
In the past.
Yes, a little known book, Jane Eyre, was published on this day in 1847. I think if you're female and you're alive, you've read it. And quite a lot of males too.
Yes, and in 1866, some brothers with their San Reno decided that let's try this robbing a train thing, but at not a station.
Yes.
It was quite successful. They made off with about $10,000, which in the middle of the 19th century was a lot of money.
Oh, in 1866, yes. Well,
yeah, we're coughing because of the fumes.
Yes, it's quite fuming. Yes, well, I was reading a story about that period when a man was talking about his father and the fact that his father was a farmer and he'd never seen a $5 bill. So you get an idea how huge $10,000 was.
I think around that time, when there was in Australia, we're a different country, but in Australia there was around the 1860s or the 1870s or something, the Eureka Stockade, because the mining licenses were...
Yes, 1860s? Yeah, I think it was the 1860s.
And so, like, people were getting upset at the fact that mining licenses cost £2.
Yes, well, it was a huge sum of money. £2 bought you something. It's equivalent to $4 today, so Australian dollars today. But £2 actually bought you something then.
Because that's where pounds come from, pounds of silver. Yes. And what's the next thing that happened? Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth, yes, sets a new World Series record in 1926. Yes, the Sultan of Swat. And in 1973, the Yom Kippur Wars began.
Which, if the USSR and the USA had another excuse to nearly wipe the entire population off the planet, then that was another excuse. Luckily, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Now, people got born too, so who got born?
A young fellow named George. George Westinghouse was an inventor. He, you know, if you've ever had a white goods with the name Westinghouse on it.
That's because of him. And, well, his initial claim to fame was inventing braking systems for trains.
Yes.
So, yeah, kind of important.
Well, yeah, they probably thought wooden blocks probably wasn't going to cut the mustard anymore.
No. Little known actress, Carol Lombard. Lombard.
Yeah, there's no A, it's Lombard.
Oh, okay.
Yes, she was born on this day in 1908 and died tragically in 1942. Talking about 1942, Britt Eklund was born on this day.
And she's still alive, apparently.
Yes, she's still alive. Looks her going a bit. She's 73, but
you know,
it happens to all of us. Look, you know, I can't keep this beauty going forever.
Beauty is such a strong word.
Yes. So yeah, she's 73. Former wife of Peter Sellers, was a Bond girl. Many movies through the 60s and 70s. Now, 1948, a young fellow named Jerry Adams, politician, former leader of Sinn Féin, was born on this day. He's now 67, of course. Yeah, he was up to his whatnot. He's in the goings on in Northern Ireland in the 80s and 90s, and he was involved in the government that finally became at the end of hostilities. So yes, that's Jerry Adams.
Things are still sensitive there, but they're not as sensitive as they were.
Yes, they are a lot better than they were. Yes, they're not chucking petrol bombs at one another, which is a very big plus.
Yes.
Okay, that's
us
the world as we saw it on this day.
Yep.
If you like us, like us.
If you hit the like.
Yeah. If you like us, share us. If you don't like us, inflict us on your friends.
That's it.
Come and see us. Come and see us on the dark side. We got cookies.
See ya.
Bye.